Boys, what's good? It's Herm. We're here because the Milwaukee Bucks have a brand new head coach, and it all happened within the span of about 10 minutes with 3 tweets, one starting from Shams and then 2 from Woj. We're going to get into how this process rolled out, and then we're going to look into kind of who Adrian Griffin is, who, like what he's done in the past and how he can help this Bucks team and kind of what the next direction is for the Bucks. But after moving on from Mike Budenholzer after the playoffs, the Bucks have a new head coach and former Toronto Raptors assistant, Adrian Griffin. But before we get into it, think about subscribing. If you're new to the channel, if you enjoy NBA content, think about sticking around. But let's just get into it. So this first tweet from Shams came out. It said, after Nick Nurse pulled out of the process, the Milwaukee Bucks are deciding between 2 guys. Toronto Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin, so the guy who's been under Nick Nurse for the past few years, as well as Golden State assistant Kenny Atkinson, who was with that exciting Nets team with D'Lo and the boys out there. And Griffin is gaining traction in the process. That came out at 1:52. At 1:53, just 1 minute later, Woj tweets, the Milwaukee Bucks are planning to hire Toronto Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin as the franchise's next head coach. Sides are progressing on terms of an agreement. And then he comes out with one right after, and the Bucks are beginning work on financial terms of a contract with Griffin, and a deal is expected to be reached soon that'll make Griffin the franchise's next head coach. So who is Adrian Griffin? If we're just looking at his coaching record, he has been an assistant coach in the league for 15 years. So he's been an assistant for a long time. He's put in his dues. He's worked hard to get to where he is today. And he's been the Raptors assistant coach since the year they won the championship. So he was an assistant under that 2019 team where the Raptors won the championship and has been with Toronto ever since. But let's just look into a little more background here. So shortly after his playing career ended, he was hired by the Milwaukee Bucks, and specifically Scott Skiles, as an assistant coach where he would work for 2 seasons. On September 9th, 2010, he became assistant coach for the Bulls under coach Tom Thibodeau, and that was, I believe, tied for the longest stint he's had. He coached there for 5 years. Along with working with the NBA in 2014, Griffin accepted the offer to work with Team USA that helped win the gold medal in 2014. In 2015, he was hired by the Orlando Magic to be their top assistant. He stayed there for 1 year, and then he was the Thunder's lead assistant under Billy Donovan from 2016 to 2018. And then in 2018, Griffin was hired by the Toronto Raptors to be the lead assistant coach under first-year head coach Nick Nurse. He was a huge piece for them winning the championship against the Warriors in 2019, and Griffin got his first championship ring. And he's been the what do I want to say? He's been the lead assistant coach for 3 teams now. So he's been the lead guy at kind of the secondary piece for 3 teams now. So he's done a lot of things. He's been around for a while. He's put in his dues. He earned this. And on April 10th of 2022, Griffin served as the acting head coach for the Raptors' final game of that regular season. So technically, he has coached in 1 NBA game, but is going to be a good coach. He's going to be good for this Bucks team. But what we're looking at here is what do the Bucks do next? Because they have their head coach now. The head coach is locked into place. I assume he's kind of more of a defensive-minded head coach, because the Raptors over the past few years have really prioritized getting defenders more than anything else, getting long, lanky guys who can defend a lot of positions. And that works out perfectly for this Bucks team, and I'm sure that was a huge factor in this hiring process because of guys like Giannis, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday. They have a ton of great defenders. This team is stocked full of very good defensive players, so it allows him to kind of thrive where he's more familiar. If we're looking at the other teams he's looked at, the Thunder were an okay defensive team, and the Magic back then were decent defensively, but the Raptors over the past few years have been pretty consistently defensive minded, and I think that's their purpose here in hiring him. Their offense still needs some improvements probably, but if Giannis doesn't get hurt, most people probably believe that they beat the Bucks. Sorry, they beat the Heat in the first round. If Giannis is healthy, I think it's probably as simple as that. Realistically, if Giannis is out there, they probably are still playing. Like, just honestly, the Bucks are that good. They're a very good team, and a lot of people would argue that they've struggled with injuries over the last 2 postseasons, whether it's Chris Middleton going down in 2022 or Giannis going down in 2023. But the next step for them is really retaining key free agents, because both Brook Lopez, who's an unrestricted free agent, and Chris Middleton, who has a player option, could both leave in free agency this summer. So do they keep both those guys? What do they focus on? I think multiple teams are going to try to throw the bag at Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is going to have a lot of interest just because of all the stuff he brings defensively, as well as being a floor spacer. He just had the best year of his career at like 35. He might be a little younger than that, but Brook Lopez is well past 30, and that was the best year of his career. Drew Holiday kind of just had the best year of his career too. So the Bucks have had this kind of rejuvenation of these players that have been in the league a long time and helping to keep them improve. So can Adrian Griffin continue that, and can they bring new guys in? But the Bucks have their head coach going forward, and that's going to be it for today. Let me know what you guys think of their head coaching hire. I really like Kenny Atkinson, but I'm interested in seeing what Adrian Griffin can do and if he can lead this Bucks team back to the finals for the first time since 2021. So leave a like if you enjoyed the video. That's going to be it for today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.